always learning. And what are we doing today? Well, today we're learning about paint roller and paintbrush storage and how you can do it all in a 5-gallon bucket for most homeowners. It's a pretty convenient way to do it, especially if you're going over to your kid's house or a friend's house or to a rental or something to paint and help somebody else out. 5-gallon bucket. Nice thing about it is you're already bringing your own chair to sit on. So I just got this one at Ace. I was in there picking up some other stuff, and you can get them at Lowe's, like Home Depot, Menards, really any place you're shopping. Most people have big things to get a lid. A couple things you can store a lot in. I'm going to take out everything I have in it. I have my little paint bucket in there. I've got rags. I've got a little paint can opener that goes to the little, stuck on a little magnetic thing to hold your brush there. I also have paint sticks in here. I don't have very many paintbrushes in here. I've got 8 of them over there that are getting cleaned, but I've got 3 cutting brush, 2 cutting brushes, an outside brush, and then I've got 4 rollers, got a paint cleaner, got a 5-in-1 tool. I've got 4 rollers, and then I've got a paint cleaner in here, and I also have 3 rolling cages. Now the only bad thing about the bucket is if you keep them on, if you keep your rollers, like I do a lot of times because they kind of get stuck, if you keep them on the roller cage, you kind of got to finesse to get just 2 of them in there. But like I said, if you take them off every time and clean them like you should, then you shouldn't have any problem. But if you don't have as much stuff as I do, it's pretty simple. You can simply put your rollers in there, put your cages in there, or put your cages in first probably, and then put your rollers around them and then kind of start putting everything in there between them. Another nice feature about the bucket is I just took a drill and I drilled a couple of holes in the lid. I'll get a close-up of that. And then what you can do is you can just tie a knot, run that through there. If you have one of your brushes, you should keep them in these little, should keep them in the stuff they came in. That's part of their storage case, but the kids kind of throw them away, so we don't have them all. And then you simply run your other string through your brush or brushes, and then back up through the other hole that you drilled in the bucket. Just tie a simple knot in there, and then if you want to just set it in there, your brushes are hanging and drying, but they're not dripping anywhere. If you're one of those things, you can also you could also set the bucket here, set the paint brushes on the edges, and you've got a built-in where it's dry. You can do it the other way as well, but then what's nice is you can take the bucket with the roller if you want to dry in, and you just hang them on the side. If you want them to drip on the inside so you don't get them on your grass, or if you're inside drying, you can set them in there, and you can set, set 2 or 3 of them in there, and then you can still come over the top and hang your brushes. You could also do the same thing. I mean, if you wanted to, you could put holes in here for your brushes if you didn't like the hanging of that aspect, and then simply come around like this. And if I can get it through there, I probably should have got a better. That's just paracord. And then you literally just come through your other hole and do the same thing like I did. And now you've got all your brushes just hanging on the side here, drying. So you could do it that way if you've got your rollers in there and didn't want your rollers you're messing with your rollers. So you could have your roller hanging out, and then this coming around, so everything's dry and not touching if you're one of those people. So anyway, it's just a pretty simple way to store it. Like I said, if you're just the average homeowner that's got painting, you're only going to have probably a couple of cages, and so you simply, I'll do an aerial shot of of that and just show you kind of how I set it in there. All right, so here you go. You just set your cages, your rolling cages, kind of in as you want. Let's assume you got 3 of them. You kind of got to finagle them a little bit, because what happens is the top gets too long. So you kind of got to go through the roller handle and make them work there. So now you've got those in there. The next thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to put in your rollers. You just kind of set them randomly where there's a gap. You're going to want to leave a gap if you've got one of the little paint carriers, or maybe you've got these little guys. You could stack those and set them in here as well. This is going to take up some room, so you kind of want to find a home for this guy first. Set your rollers down in there. Then you're going to come back with your brushes. Find a little home for those guys. Then if you got chip brushes, they're short, they'll go in there. I got a little finishing brush, it's gonna go in there. I got a toothbrush. If we bring our sprayer, we gotta fill in there. Got another little brush that doesn't have a top. Nice thing about that, if you don't have the storage system, they're a little shorter, so you can actually just pop them down there and they just fit perfectly in there if you want to do that, so that your bristles aren't touching. And then this guy needs to find a home. He should have gone in there earlier. I don't think he'll go straight down. Maybe he will. No, he's got an angle. So I've got to find a home for him. There, he'll fit there, and then the tube comes on top. Okay, the only thing I've got left is I've got some sticks. Those can go again in a roller. Got my 5-in-1 tool that's going in there. I've got some sandpaper in case we had some drywall we were finishing and I forgot to bring some of that. And then the last thing is the rags. Those are all just sitting on top there. And then I come back with my little paracord. Got my little paracord. I'll just roll that up to help use to dry everything. And then bam, I put my lid on and I am done. That's the storage. So it's pretty efficient way to do it. I'm getting ready to switch over to this Purdy method. I've got to get the ends of it and then I won't need the cages. So I'll really just have this and then probably one other cage is all I'll store in there to take over to our rentals. But that's kind of everything that is in there. If you don't have as much, if you're less, then it's even easier. These paint cleaners are really cool if you don't have one of those roller or brush cleaners. So, like I said, if you're pretty small as far as your brushings and roller inventory, this works pretty great. Most people probably only have 2 roller cages. Note to self, you always want to get a sturdy roller cage. If you don't, what happens is when you push this against the wall, one side flexes. And so this side will be dark, or this side will be dark but it's flexing, and then this side will be light and you'll get roller streaks in there. So let's say you only got 2 rollers. You've got your 2 rollers in there. They're in there. You've got your 3 rollers. That's a ceiling roller, by the way. You come back in, you put your little paint bucket if you've got it. You always want to have a can opener. If not, just keep a quarter. Those will work well. Maybe you've got a couple of these little cups. If you're not a solo cup painting person, put that in there. Most people probably don't have this brush roller, but if you do, it slides right in there. And then, like I said, you put a couple of painting sticks in. Put your brushes in. Maybe you've got some chip brushes, so you're going to set those in there. And then if you got a little drop cloth, like maybe a little plastic one, you can throw that in there. Or maybe you just have maybe just carry a couple rags and you set that in there. So really not much, and then you're kind of done. Put your paracord if you want. And like I said, just a handy little bucket that you can just now carry around and take it wherever you go if you want to paint. You don't have to worry about tipping over, stuff falling out. It's all in there. You don't have to worry about bugs getting in there because the lid, the holes are over here. I mean, you could drill them in the top if you wanted to get some more in there, but you got a nice little storage system. I hadn't seen anybody that has done this, so I thought I'd put it out there. So that's the paint storage system. That 5-gallon bucket. I think I paid close to $5 for the bucket, $5 for the lid. Kind of crazy. That cheaper at Lowe's. I was just happened, like I said, to be there. So pick them up and try it out. But I think you'll be happy with storing it. Like I said, the only thing I don't have in here that probably a lot of people do is a paint roller tray. And the reason I don't is because we usually grab 3 or 4 of them every time we pick up the gallon of paint. We're usually painting 4 or 5 gallons at a time. So we're always going to pick up gallons of paint, and we're going to pick up some roller trays. So thanks for watching.